Assalamualaikum, I am Muhammad Uzair, and this is the lecture 2 of ecology. In the last lecture, we described ecology, types of ecology, and then ecosystem, and we broadly described the types of ecosystem. In this lecture, we will describe the ecosystem, components of ecosystem. There are two major components of ecosystem, that are abiotic components and biotic components. Biotic components refers to the living things. The biotic components include producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers within an ecosystem are responsible for the preparation and manufacturing of food. Actually, the basic source of energy in any ecosystem is the sun, and then the energy, solar energy, is uh, transferred into other forms of energy like chemical energy, that is usable for living organisms. So producers are responsible for this transformation of the of solar energy into chemical energy, and then the energy produced by manufactured by producers is then used by consumers within an ecosystem, and then consumers use and transfer this energy at many levels called as trophic levels in a food chain. And then next are the decomposers that decompose the energy into that decompose the organic molecules into inorganic molecules that can be used by the that can be taken up by the producers like plants and bacteria. So the abiotic components consist of non-living chemical and physical components such as water, air, and nutrients in the soil, or water and solar energy. The physical and chemical factors that affect the living organisms in land, in an ecosystem and aquatic life zone include in the abiotic factors. Actually, abiotic factors can act as limiting factors that keep a population at a certain level. It means that the quantity of abiotic factors and the quantity and quality of abiotic factor controls the organisms, living species inhabiting a particular ecosystem. For example, the mm, best abiotic factors and the abundant food will allow the species living within an ecosystem to flourish, and the worst conditions of abiotic factors would reduce and would affect the quality of life of the organisms inhabiting a particular ecosystem. And these may be climatic factors and epidemic factors. The climatic factors are the factors that affect the climate around the world. Actually, these uh, are responsible for changing the climate of an ecosystem, and these include rain, temperature, light, and wind. And edaphic factors are related to the quantity of soil, quality of soil in the in an ecosystem, like the quantity of humus in the soil, and pH and topography of soil, and the minerals and nutrients present in the soil. So these factors actually define the circle that which type of the organisms and which type of living things can inhabit a particular ecosystem, like climatic and edaphic factors uh, that uh, would allow certain species and animals to inhabit the ecosystem, and uh, would be a hurdle and would resist the inhibition of for the particular uh, living organisms. Now we will describe the biotic factors in detail. That all living things that directly or indirectly affect an ecosystem are the biotic components that interact with living organisms, and the physical environment can also be the limiting factor. Now we know that all the plants and microorganisms like bacteria and fungi and all the animals that inhabit a particular ecosystem are the biotic components made up of biological components consisting of living and dead plants, animals, and microorganisms. Mean components, biotic components include living and dead plants and animals, and then microorganisms. First of all, we have predators. These are autotrophs or self feeders. These prepare their own food from the sunlight with the help of process of photosynthesis, and they convert the solar energy into the chemical energy of the glucose and sucrose, and they make their own food from compounds that are obtained from their environment, uh, and they receive carbon dioxide from their environment, and then utilize it, and water from the soil, and then they utilize it uh, for the preparation of glucose. In freshwater and marine ecosystem, algae and plants are the major producers near shorelines. In open water, the dominant producers are phytoplankton. Most of them are microscopic and they float or drift in the water. Most producers capture sunlight to make carbohydrates such as glucose by photosynthesis. Then next, there are consumers that feed on the other animals or other plants to get their food, and these are heterotrophs, get their energy and nutrients by feeding on other organism or their remains. And primary consumers, then we have different levels of the consumers that have make a food chain in which a particular living organism will feed on another organism and will be eaten by the organism that is behind him in the food chain. So first of all, we have primary consumer, and these are the animal that eat producers like plants as a source of food. They are also known as herbivores. And then next we have secondary consumers or carnivores that eat other animals, like they eat on the primary, they feed on the primary consumers. Then next we have tertiary consumer. These are the large carnivores which feed on the secondary consumers. And then we have quaternary consumers, largest carnivores that feed on the tertiary consumers. They are not eaten by any animal. And then we have omnivores. They had mixed diet that include both plants and animals. I mean, these are particular living organisms that eat on plants as well as on animals. So they share the to be primary consumer and then tertiary consumers. The then next last in the biotic components of the ecosystem, we have decomposers. Mostly certain types of bacteria and fungi are specialized uh, decomposers that recycle organic matter in the ecosystem. Actually, when the when in the producers and consumers within the living within an ecosystem die, then these they are present, their materials are present in organic form, and these forms are not digestible and not uh, absorbed, not usable by the other living organisms. These organic materials are broken down into the inorganic materials, and then they do so by the breaking or biodegrading the organic material to get nutrients, and then releasing these simpler inorganic compounds into the soil and water, where they can be taken up as a nutrient by producers. Then these nutrients are used by producers, and then this cycle repeats in the ecosystem. Next, we have the concept of food chain. Every organism needs to obtain energy in order to live. For example, plants get energy from the sun. Some animals eat plants, and then some animals eat other animals. A food chain is the sequence of who eats home in a biological community, an ecosystem to obtain uh, nutrition. For example, in all the ecosystems, the basic source of energy is the sun. That the solar energy is then used by producers to create to synthesize and manufacture the chemical energy from the solar energy, and then these producers are eaten up by herbivores and omnivores, and then herbivores are eaten up by the secondary consumers. These herbivores are basically primary consumers, and then these are eaten by secondary consumers, and then secondary consumers are eaten up by apex predators or the tertiary consumers, and then these living organisms will die within an ecosystem, and then materials would be recycled in the ecosystem with the help of decomposers. Next is the trophic levels within an within the food chain in an ecosystem. Each level of the food chain is called as the trophic level. For example, producer is one trophic level, and then herbivores or primary consumers are the is an other one trophic level. So what does it mean by trophic level? Trophic level means that organisms in an ecosystem can be placed in trophic levels depending on what energy source they rely upon and how they provide energy for other organisms in the food chain or food web. With the exception of life near hydrothermal vents in the deep ocean, life is always dependent directly or indirectly on the form of sun. In every ecosystem, there is an organism at lowest level, so-called last trophic level, that converts energy from the sun into the usable energy for other organisms. Then next we have a concept of food web, that is a collection of many food chains within the ecosystem. In one ecosystem, the a food web depicts feeding connections in an ecological community, and hence is also referred to as consumer resource system. The food web is a simplified illustration of various methods of feeding that links an ecosystem into unified system of exchange. Various food chains are often interlinked at different trophic levels to form a complex interaction between different species. From the point of view of food, a food web provides more than one alternatives of food to most of the organisms in an ecosystem, and thus increase their chances of survival. In a food web, there are the food chain levels differs. For example, a particular organism that is the uh, secondary consumer in one food chain, it may be the tertiary consumer in another food chain. So the levels of food chain level trophic levels in a food web varies with respect to a particular food chain. In this example, food web of organisms residing in the soil, they have a predominance of trees that are interspersed with large numbers of species of herbs, shrubs, climbers, lichens, algae, and a variety of wild animals and birds. Then we next have a concept of ecological pyramids, the graphic representation of trophic structures and function of the ecosystem, starting with producers at base and survived trophic levels forming the apex. Um, we have last studied the concept of trophic levels. Now the study of these trophic levels with respect of the numbers of living organisms and with respect of the energy, and then with respect of the biomass, are called the ecological pyramids. Pyramid of number is the graphical representation of the numbers of individual at each trophic level, and there is decrease in the number of the organisms in the ascending order. The producers are more are abundant in number, and then as we move from the producers to the tertiary consumers, the number of the individual decrease with the um, as we move upward. And then energy pyramid is the graphical representation of the energy within the trophic levels of an ecosystem. Primary producers, the energy provided by primary producers is reduced to 10% at the primary consumer level, then it only reaches 1% of the energy that was produced by producers, is only reaches 1% of it to the secondary consumers, and then only 0.1% to the tertiary consumer, and then 0.01 of it reaches at the apex. And next we have pyramid of biomass, that amount that shows the amount of biomass in each trophic level. Biomass, what is the weight that is determined after dehydration. It shows the amount of matter lost between each trophic level. For example, there was a maximum amount of the biomass at the producer level, and as we move towards quaternary carnivores, quaternary consumer, it get reduced to by 1,000 times. The pyramid of biomass is measured in kilogram, grams, and pounds, and pyramid of energy is measured in joules and or calories. This was all about the components of an ecosystem. And then these abiotic components are recycled in the ecosystem through different cycles that include a hydrological cycle that ensures the recycling of water in an ecosystem, and then next we have carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle, in which carbon is recycled from the inorganic to organic form in the living organisms. In nitrogen cycle, the nitrogen in the environment is fixed, and then its ammonification occurs, and then it is denitrified, that for in its basic form. This was all about it, and thank you for watching video. Allah Hafiz.